Is it male or female? Is this a head? The head is still in the bag. The scene in front is the police retrieving a body underwater. This is a case. This is a murder and body dumping case that occurred in Huainan, Anhui. In order to find the victim, the police searched for half a year but couldn't find it. If it weren't for the children playing nearby, I'm afraid the victim will never see the light of day again. The meticulous plan of the suspects. This left the police feeling helpless. The culprits of this case, one after another, they surfaced. The relationship between them also surprised the police. You won't know who the mastermind behind it all is until the end. Perverted babies. Are you ready? Follow Wang Defa. Let's enter the crime scene together. The time goes back to January 21, 2020. That morning, residing in Huainan City, Anhui Province, Wuyu, Zhengyangwan Town, Shou County, went to the police station to file a report. He said his brother is Wu Quan. It's been over a month since I last contacted him. His phone has been turned off. No one knows where he went. Wuyu said that he and his brother don't usually keep in touch much. So, when he first noticed that he couldn't reach his brother by phone, he didn't pay much attention. Until that day, when he accidentally saw his brother's car by the roadside. He just realized that his brother might have encountered trouble. It was just a car parked by the roadside. Of course, this didn't raise any suspicion in Wu Yu. What gave him an ominous feeling was the condition of the car. Wu Yu discovered his brother's car was covered in dust. The tires were also flat. It was obvious that it hadn't been used in a long time. Wu Yu said that his brother is in the construction business. He often had to drive around. This car rarely sat idle in the past. Wu Yu recalled the last time he saw his brother. It was on December 2, 2019. Sometimes, he would come from Shou County to here. He had lunch here and then went to work in Yingshan County. That day, Wu Quan rushed back to his hometown from Shou County to visit his grandmother's tomb. After having lunch, he left by car. There was nothing unusual when he left. He even made plans to have dinner with a friend the next day. At this time on December 3rd, the phone was still in a state where it could be dialed and connected normally. It wasn't until the third day after that, Wu's brother, along with his relatives and friends. After that, he couldn't be reached anymore. Various signs indicate Wu Quan might have had some kind of accident. Subsequently, the police immediately checked Wu Quan's car parked by the roadside. They conducted an investigation. Unfortunately, the police found something in the car. They did not obtain any useful information. Following that, the police and Wu Quan's family. The police contacted his friends and co-workers separately, hoping to find Wu Quan's last known whereabouts before he went missing. I asked his co-workers who worked with him, and his friends. All of my friends have been asked. They all said they hadn't seen him. During the further investigation, searching for video surveillance and conducting interviews, no progress has been made. The police collected DNA information from Wu Quan's family, stored in the archive. At the same time, efforts were intensified to conduct searches. However, Wu Quan seemed to have vanished without a trace. There was no news at all. The investigation into the case hit a deadlock. Until 6 months later, the police finally made a significant breakthrough. Wangci Village, Zhengyangwan Town, Shouxian. Less than 7 kilometers from the town government office. It takes just over 10 minutes by car. Several days of continuous heavy rain caused the rice fields around Wangci Village to flood. Early that morning, villager Old Li and his wife prepared to go to the fields to drain some water from their own fields. While they were halfway there, Old Li suddenly heard children nearby calling for them. It seemed like something urgent was happening. So, they hurried over to check. Suddenly, the scene before them instantly left them dumbfounded. They found a woven bag floating in the water. The object in the bag vaguely resembled a curled-up human figure. It was packed in a snakeskin bag. A foot was exposed. A frightened Shaoli hurriedly dialed the police. The police of Shou County, upon receiving the report, immediately, they rushed to the scene. At that time, we could see with the naked eye. The foot of this body was already exposed. From the woven bag, it seemed to be in a state of prolonged soaking. It had already swollen. The body was heavily decomposed. The time of death should have been quite long ago. After the initial examination by the forensic doctor, it was determined that the victim is male. The age is between 35 and 50 years old. There were multiple fatal injuries to the head, face, and neck. It was clear that this was a homicide case. The age of the deceased. This made the police recall Wu Quan, who had gone missing 6 months ago. Therefore, the forensic doctor immediately collected biological samples from the deceased, sent to the laboratory for examination. The results of the DNA comparison indicate that the deceased is indeed Wu Quan, who went missing over 6 months ago. What puzzled the police present was, the terrain here is flat and open. There are farmlands on both sides. The irrigation ditch is only about 2 meters deep. Why was the body not discovered for so long? Villager Old Lee said. Perhaps it is due to the remote geographical location. This place rarely sees anyone. During further investigations, the police, they found a strange stick. One end of this stick was inserted into the woven bag. After careful examination, on the stick, showed no biological traces of the victim or anyone else. This led the police to conclude that one side of the woven bag was inserted with the stick, likely to prevent the body from surfacing and being discovered. It was used to secure the woven bag. Considering various information from the scene, the police speculate that Wu Quan may have been missing since December 4, 2019. Shortly after going missing, he met with misfortune. So who could have brutally harmed Wu Quan? The police immediately launched a comprehensive investigation thereafter. Through the investigation, it was learned that Wu Quan had contracted various construction projects before his death. He did not have a fixed workplace. He had a wide social circle. The police speculated that the murderer might have known that Wu Quan had money. Thus, they aimed to kill for financial gain. Although the jobs he took were not significant, his friend had more workers on the job. So we initially said that, in terms of finances, Wu might have had conflicts or disagreements with others. However, the speculation of killing for money was denied by Wu Quan's family. They said Wu Quan was just concerned about appearances. In reality, he had no money at all. His financial situation was poor before the incident. Later, the police confirmed the statements made by Wu Quan's family. Thus, the police temporarily ruled out the possibility that the murderer killed for financial gain. The police then adjusted their investigation direction. They started with emotional disputes. Soon, a suspicious woman came into the police's view. Just 2 days before the incident, a friend heard Wu Quan on the phone, had a heated argument with this woman. At that time, this woman, Wu, said on the phone, "Then if you don't want to keep me company, then you won't be with me anymore. I'll be all alone. I won't want to live anymore. I'll just be left to fend for myself." The woman who argued with Wu Quan is named Yu Fang. She is his ex-girlfriend. It is understood that Wu Quan has been divorced for many years. His ex-wife lives with 2 children. They live in Xuancheng City, Anhui Province. In 2019, Wu Quan met Yu Fang through social media. The two quickly developed a romantic relationship. Initially, they got along quite well. However, 6 months later, Yu Fang felt that Wu Quan was not very reliable. Moreover, their personalities did not match well. So, Yu Fang proposed to break up. However, Wu Quan does not accept the reason for Yu Fang's breakup. Wu Quan does not agree. He feels that personality differences require both people to gradually adjust. Where are the couples that are perfect for each other right from the start? Therefore, regarding Yu Fang's request to break up, he thinks this is just a momentary impulse from his girlfriend. As long as he doesn't give up, their relationship will improve. After this breakup, Wu also repeatedly harassed and stalked her. In early December of last year, he even reached out. Yu then said, "Tomorrow is the 5th day of the 5th lunar month. My grandmother needs to visit the grave. Will you accompany me back to my hometown?" However, at this point, Yu Fang already had a new boyfriend, so she declined Wu Quan's invitation. This made Wu Quan very angry, especially after hearing that Yu Fang had started dating a new boyfriend. He found it even harder to suppress his inner anger. So he called Yu Fang multiple times, demanding that she change her mind. Moreover, he even threatened over the phone, "If you don't go back with me." He himself had to take extreme measures to end his own life. The police immediately found Yu Fang for questioning. Upon hearing the news that Wu Quan was dead, Yu Fang appeared very surprised. She said that previously, she indeed had issues due to emotional problems with Wu Quan. Wu Quan also called frequently. to express his wish to reconcile. However, she had firmly told Wu Quan that it was no longer possible. Moreover, Yu Fang also told the police. Although Wu Quan had made threatening remarks over the phone, he had not taken any drastic actions in reality. She had no need to retaliate against Wu Quan for that reason. So, is what Yu Fang said true? To be cautious. The police investigated the activities of Yu Fang and her boyfriend around the time of December 4, 2019. The movements of Yu Fang and her boyfriend were investigated. After visiting, they found that neither of the two had time to commit the crime. Thus, Yu Fang was ruled out as a suspect. At this time, the police responsible for further examination of the scene. News came in. After multiple investigative experiments, they believe the suspect who killed Wu Quan is most likely a villager from Wangxi village, the corpse abandonment site. The corpse abandonment site is located in the northwest of Wangxi village. The geographical location is relatively remote. However, it is a few kilometers away from the central scene. There are roads accessible by vehicle in all 4 directions. The police investigating the scene. How did they come to the conclusion that the murderer may be a villager from Wangxi village? Based on the terrain, the police initially ruled out the possibility that the suspect came from the north side of the central scene. The possibility of the 3 roads on the east and south sides. They believe the suspect could only have come from the road on the west side of the central scene. However, after further experiments, this possibility also seems to have been ruled out. At that time, we also conducted an experiment. We had some bags filled with soil next to us. Those kinds of burlap sacks. We moved them a bit. That was only a few dozen pounds. So we, 2 or 3 people, you said to lift it down from the main road above. That is very difficult. If the suspect came from the west road, from here, we need to reach the corpse abandonment site. 2 people are carrying not so heavy sacks. They all feel very strained. If they want to carry it smoothly. An adult male corpse weighing more than 80 kilograms. The possibility is obviously smaller. So, how exactly was the corpse transported here? At that time, the villagers provided us with an idea. They said that it's difficult to come down from the main road on the west. But coming from this village on the east side, it is very open. After field investigation, the police deduced that the murderer likely killed Wu Quan and then drove through Wangxi village overnight. Then, using other tools, they transported the corpse to the abandonment site. However, to accomplish all this, the murderer must be very familiar with Wangxi village. Therefore, the most likely suspects are the villagers from this village. Subsequently, the police immediately reviewed the surveillance footage from the roads around Wangxi village for several days before and after December 4, 2019. The surveillance footage of the road surrounding Wangxi village. Unfortunately, more than half a year has passed since the time of the incident, and much of the video material has already been lost. At this point, an officer suggested that the security checkpoints at nearby intersections have automatic photography functions, and may have preserved footage from that time. Through analyzing this footage, a suspicious vehicle drew the officer's attention. Around 5 p.m. on December 3, 2019, a white sedan drove towards Wangxi village. The occupants of the car were 2 brothers, Zhang Yanbin and Zhang Yanhao, who were villagers from Wangxi. They aroused the officer's suspicion, because their movements before and after the incident seemed very strange. The officers discovered that these 2 brothers had suddenly returned to the village from out of town before the incident. On December 4, Wu Quan went missing, and on that very day, the 2 brothers simultaneously left Shouxian. Is this merely a coincidence in timing? The police discovered through further investigation that around 7 p.m. on December 3, someone had seen Wu Quan in Zhengyangwan town, and during this time period, Zhang Yanhao was also seen nearby. Various signs indicate that the Zhang brothers are major suspects in the case. The police immediately decided to arrest the 2 of them. Soon, the 2 brothers were apprehended. During the interrogation, the Zhang brothers quickly confessed to the crime of killing Wu Quan. So what grievances did they have against Wu Quan? Why did they have to put Wu Quan to death? According to their testimony, in fact, Wu Quan's death is related to a woman. The woman's name is Meng Jie. She is the ex-wife of Zhang Yanhao. In Zhang Yanhao's view, it was Wu Quan's appearance That shattered his once happy family. Zhang Yanhao is a villager from Wangci village, working in Guangzhou for many years. Meng Jia brought along 2 children, renting a house in Zhengyangwan town. In 2017, Meng Jia met Wu Quan while playing mahjong. They quickly developed into a romantic relationship. On November 26, 2019, Zhang Yanhao took leave and returned to Anhui due to personal matters. It was during these days of his return home that things began to spiral out of control. On December 2, 2019, after Wu Quan paid respects to his grandmother, he did not go to the construction site in Yingshan County, but drove straight to Zhengyangwan town instead. He parked the car at Meng Jia's doorstep and honked the horn for a long time. His provocative behavior frightened Meng Jia. Then Meng Jia secretly found Wu Quan, trying to get Wu Quan to leave quickly, but Wu Quan refused to leave adamantly. He even threatened Meng Jia. If they couldn't meet at any time, he went after Meng Jia's family. This filled Meng Jia with deep fear. In order to protect the children, she confessed everything to her family. Upon hearing this, Zhang Yanhao angrily smashed his phone. That very night, Zhang Yanhao filed for divorce, and the next day, he processed the divorce paperwork. Afterwards, Zhang Yanhao had a long talk with Meng Jia. After the conversation ended, Zhang Yanhao returned to his father's home in Wangci village. Zhang Yanhao made it clear that Meng Jia could stay at home to take care of the children, but she must cut off all ties with Wu Quan. After returning to his father's house, he called his brother to come back as well. At that moment, Zhang Yanhao received a message from Meng Jia. The message said that Wu Quan was back. You all come over and teach him a lesson. Around 8 p.m. on December 3rd, the Zhang brothers brought shovels and sickles, arrived at Meng Jia's residence. When I arrived at that time, I didn't find Wu Quan in the inner room. Later, I went to the small room and saw him there. He was sitting on the bed at that time. When I walked in, he got up. He took a step forward. I hit him. I knocked him down. Did he say anything at that time? Didn't he have time to speak? He said it was a misunderstanding. According to Zhang Yanhao's confession, after they killed Wu Quan, they cleaned up the scene. Then, they transported the body to Wangci village. Using a wheelbarrow, they moved the body to a ditch in the field. At this point, the truth of the case seems to come to light. However, the police officer in charge of the interrogation discovered a doubt. Where did they get this woven bag? And how was the woven seal tied? The two of them couldn't explain it clearly. Their statements are very contradictory. We feel this is a bit unbelievable. You've admitted to the process of killing. Why is this process of putting the body in the woven bag unclear? The two of them can't explain clearly. Moreover, Zhang Yanhao had a long talk with Meng Jia. He asked Meng Jia and Wu Quan to stop interacting. Meng Jia also agreed. So, why did Zhang Yanhao change his mind after returning home? He immediately notified his brother to come back, and they teamed up to kill Wu Quan. What happened during those few hours after he got home? What exactly occurred? The police speculate that there might be a fourth person involved in the crime. After the interrogation, the suspect Zhang Yanbin confessed that his father, Zhang Yuanfu, also participated in the crime. According to Zhang Yanhao's testimony, after returning to his father's house that day, he informed his father about his divorce. He told his father, Zhang Yuanfu. After hearing this news, Zhang Yuanfu was very angry. He said they couldn't let Wu Quan off so easily. So he called back Zhang Yanbin, who was working outside. They planned to teach Wu Quan a lesson together. He doesn't need anything, Wu Quan knows how to fight. My two kids can't even take him on. The TV is on. One person can take on more than a dozen. Dozens can't compete with him. I would desperately hold on to his legs. Let the two kids take him on. On the evening of December 3rd, Zhang Yuanfu and his two sons brought a weapon. They arrived together at Meng Jia's residence. Zhang Yuanfu sent Meng Jia away. Then, the brothers Zhang Yanhao and Zhang Yanbin killed Wu Quan. Afterward, Zhang Yuanfu found a woven bag in the yard. He put the body inside. He sealed the bag's opening with silk thread. Then the three of them drove back to Wangci village. Afterwards, to destroy evidence, Meng Jia cleaned the bloodstains left at the scene. Under the suspect's identification, the police found the tools used for the crime discarded in the septic tank. Thus, The truth about Wu Quan's murder has come to light.